morning, legends. 7.35 Ks this morning. Amazing. Now, this is probably the first time in a long time that I'll actually say this on this channel, but right now, my running is actually going really well. It's really rare on this channel. Oh, also, the new hats are on sale now. Go get them. I don't have many because I'm poor as shit and manufacturing stuff costs heaps. There's not that many. Get around it. Join the run club. My personal favorite is the fire orange. Go have a look on the website right now. Amazing stuff. Now, the reason why I've been able to get myself out of this annoying injury rut and back into the getting on the grind, building fitness rut is by understanding one fundamental thing that I think most runners don't actually understand at all, and that is resting. Resting and learning how to actually rest properly is a lost art in probably most sports, actually. Like working as a physio, people just don't know how to rest when they have an issue, or don't know how to actually crisis manage themselves through an injury properly, myself included when it comes to me and my own injuries. So today is all about the lost art of resting. Let's get on the grind. I also have to work today, and yeah, bye. All right, guys, I want you to let me know in the comments below if you take rest days, when you take rest days, how many rest days a week, and if you actually structure long-term rest into your structure. Now, working as a physio, I often see that a lot of people, when they come in with particular issues, they're just not like mentally and psychologically bought into the process of getting better in the long term. You know, they think that they're going to get a quick fix and that all the extra stuff like the rehab and things like that is just not going to actually help. Runners understand that doing things consistently over time is going to get you way faster, way stronger, and everything like that. They are mentally bought in. They are 100% in to the process of long-term growth. If we can just harness that into injury management and resting, then we're all going to be insanely fast runners running at the Olympics when it's in LA, baby. Let's go! Now, I'm going to try and explain this lost art of resting with one simple graph that explains all the physiology involved in resting. And it's such a simple concept that I was actually able to explain it to the cat, and she fully understood it and comprehended it and will adapt it to her own training. So here we have a graph with tissue strength on one axis and time on the other axis. So what we do is we load a specific tissue. That could be with a training exercise, that could be with gym, that could be with running, that could be with literally anything, and this tissue strength will reduce because we've loaded it up. It has to get broken to rebuild again stronger than before. Now, if you have a look at this recovery process, we can see that after the tissue breakdown, there is an ever so slight improvement in the tissue resilience. Therefore, you can run faster for longer next week. Absolutely amazing stuff. Now, where does this go wrong? So when we load that tissue up too early, we actually break it down even further. So it doesn't even get back to baseline or improve. It just continues to go down and down and down as long as we're always getting that inadequate rest time and actually just destroying our body. And so when we don't get this adequate rest and we don't get back to this baseline or even get that little super compensation of tissue strength, we can start to see that over time, everything gets weaker and weaker and more prone to injury after a certain amount of time. Now, we don't know when that certain amount of time is actually, but eventually, the weaker you get, the more likely you are to get injured. Now, the annoying thing about this kind of stuff is that we don't actually know that we're breaking our tissues down until it's too late, until we start to get stiffness and niggles and eventual injuries. Once we're getting those symptoms, it's already too late and the tissue has broken down a fair amount, which means we have to really focus on a preventative resting strategy, implement it into our routine over the course of many, many years so that we can continue to build ourselves up, but also mitigate this chance that things are starting to break down and we don't know until it's too late. Now, that is a relatively simplified version of what's going on in your body in terms of actual tissues, but rest over the course of a long period of time is so important for other things in your body too, like systemic hormonal issues. The thing is, if you're not getting adequate rest in, if you're not resting enough, if you're doing too much in life and in exercise and everything, if you're just a complete busybody that's just doing stuff all the time, barely any sleep, man, your testosterone, your estrogen, if you're a girl, is going to go down. And that means that you're going to have no sex drive. Your dong's not going to work. And that is not a life that I necessarily would want for my viewers on this channel. Because if your dong doesn't work, then what is the point of doing anything in life? That would absolutely suck. That would suck, mate, wouldn't it, huh? So method number 1 to not overly do it and to get the adequate rest is to understand that the human body responds really well when given the right amount of dose. And the thing is, once you've actually got to a certain fitness, it's really easy to maintain that and you don't have to continue to get more running, more intensity, more everything, more to get the same result. For example, if you were to do, say, like a 16-week training block for some sort of race and you run 80 kilometers per week, okay? If you did that racing block 3 or 4 times in a row without changing anything other than just, I guess, running the perceived effort, you would get faster, you would get stronger, you would probably not get injured at all because you're not going to be overdoing it because your body's going to continue getting stronger and adapting to training. I strongly think that most people, including myself in the past, spike their training load way too fast early in their running career. It's not a good thing to do and it stops you from learning the fundamental art of resting. Imagine that your body is like a sponge, okay? And if you just continue to saturate this sponge without actually making this sponge bigger and bigger over time, progressively and patiently, then there's only so much liquid that this sponge can actually soak up over time. It's just not going to work. You're just going to get injured over and over and over and over. It's probably better for you to do way less than you actually think and to just do that for like an entire year without getting injured or anything. Enjoy the process, not get systemically fatigued, hormonally destroyed, and you'll probably do way better, get way faster for way less actual effort. Another thing that I've found for myself to be really good in making sure that I don't overdo it and get in that rest is by doing cross-training days where I just cross-train. There's no load on the body. All I'm doing is just boosting up these lungs because the lungs just do so well when they're constantly being stimulated. The body doesn't, okay, unless you're really, really genetically elite, okay? Building yourself up slowly over time, adding in cross-training when you need to, okay? An easy day and a cross-training day realistically makes no actual difference, okay? The odd day where you're just going out doing a cross-training session instead of actually doing an easy run, that's pretty good in my books. That is a tick. That is something that I would approve of, and that is really smart training. You should always feel like in your training, you're just holding back. You're just taking your foot off the accelerator, and you're saying to yourself, wow, I could have absolutely buried myself today, but I didn't. And that is a smart decision because in the future, when it really counts, then I can bury myself. Now, if you're really prone to this kind of mentality of constantly making things faster and harder and more running and more gym and more and more and more, and you feel like you just get completely cooked, then maybe you need a coach, okay? And maybe I could be your coach. I've been thinking about maybe doing some coaching, little bits, mostly to help people hold back and prevent injuries. I think as a physio point of view, a coach, that would be really valuable. And if you would like to be coached by me for a certain period of time, let me know in the comments below or message me on Instagram. We're posting there now. We're sending it because, you know, physiotherapy in Australia is getting kicked in the dick at the moment. I'll see you guys another time. Bye.